Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. And today I'm going to rank the albums of Dire Straits, a band that was absolutely massively successful in the 1980s. And they're not forgotten about, but they tend to get scoffed at a little bit. And I think they're pretty good, although the albums themselves are a mixed bag. The first album came out in 1978, and the band itself was Martin Knopfler, his brother David, John Isley, and Pick Withers. And then after the second album, David Knopfler left. So 6 albums, so we'll quickly go through them. And coming in last place is the 1991 album On Every Street. And there's a few things wrong with this. Firstly, it's too long, especially the CD, and I think the album's slightly shortened the songs a little bit, and the tracks are not that great. There was 4 singles off this: Calling Elvis, which is a very weak opening track; On Every Street, which is not a bad song itself, but it's just not single material; Heavy Fuel, which is more reminiscent of the sort of Money for Nothing sound, but it's nowhere near the same song, it's nowhere near as good; and The Bug, which has a slight resemblance to Walk of Life, but again nowhere near as good. Another problem with this is it doesn't know whether it wants to be a Dire Straits album or a Martin Knopfler solo album, and the best 2 songs off this could have been lifted off a solo album, and they're the 2 country ones, Ticket to Heaven and How Long. But overall I find this a rather boring album, and so it comes in at number 6 for me. Number 5, and it's the biggie, and it is Brothers in Arms, and I bought this when it came out in '85. This is the original copy, and the album versions are slightly shorter than the CD, or the LP version is shorter than the CD. But to me this has got 4 great songs off it, and the rest I can do without. The 4 are So Far Away, with its B-side at the time was Walk of Life. It was then re-released as an A-side in its own right. Money for Nothing and Brothers in Arms. Now, Your Latest Trick was a single, and it's okay, but it's a bit schmaltzy, especially with the saxophone. And Why Worry is an okay sort of ballad, but 3 tracks off side 2, Right Across the River, and The Man's Too Strong, and One World especially, are absolutely dreadful. So it's a half a good album. And now, why is it so low? If it's a half a good album, it's the good songs. I'm slightly sick of them, they've been overplayed, so it gets my number 5. And number 4, and this is an album that I originally would probably put last, but I've got to actually really like this, and this is their debut. Now this has the fantastic Sultans of Swing, top 3 song of Dire Straits for me. And this album is almost like it's slightly bluesy in places. There's a little bit of country, there's a little bit of boogie, but it doesn't have that big production like the later albums. Now, Down in the Waterline's a good opener, although it does have a Sultans of Swing vibe to it, and Water of Love's fine. Setting Me Up has got a real vibe like Lay Down Sally by Eric Clapton. Six Blade Knife I don't really like, and Southbound Again is okay. On the second side, In the Gallery is actually, it's quite funky and it's not bad. Wild West End has a little bit of a country feel to it, and it's a little bit of Van Morrison feel as well. And Lions is a decent closer, but the highlight of this by a mile is Sultans of Swing. But still, it's a pretty good album. That's my number 4. And at number 3, and their most forgotten about album, and it's Communiqué, and this is their second album. It's from 1979, and this one and the first one go together in sound really. They're the most similar, but I think this is better because I think the songs are better. It opens up with Once Upon a Time in the West, which got on their live album Alchemy, and it has a little bit of a reggae vibe to it, especially at the start. News is very good, as is Where Do You Think You're Going, although it is quite bluesy. Communiqué is a fine title track. However, side 2, where I really enjoy this album, Lady Writer is the little brother of Sultans of Swing. It's not as good, but it's still really good fun. And my favourite track off this album is Angel of Mercy. I just think it's brilliant with a fantastic melodic chorus. Portobello Bell is pretty good as well. It's like an acoustic song. A Single-Handed Sailor and Follow Me Home are two fine songs. It is a very good album, and it didn't do that well in the charts. 1979, Communiqué is my number 3. Now number 2 and number 1 could be change on any day of the week, but for the moment number 2 is Love Over Gold from 1982, and there's only 5 tracks off this. The first one is brilliant, Telegraph Road, but I will say I think it should have been cut down by about 4 minutes. It clocks in at about 16 minutes or so. So it should have been cut down a little bit to allow for another song to get on the album. However, it's still a really good track, and Private Investigations is a top 3, top 4 maybe song for me. So side 1 is brilliant. Side 2 not quite as good. It starts off with Industrial Disease, which is similar in a way, especially the keyboards, The Walk of Life, and it is fun, but it is quite throwaway, but it's still enjoyable. The title track is the most laid back track off this, Love Over Gold, and then It Never Rains is the most underrated track off this. It's a really, really strong album, and as I say, on any other day it'd be number 1, but today it's my number 2. And at number 1 from 1980, and it's Making Movies, and this starts off with Tunnel of Love, which is my favourite track of theirs. Then you have the beautiful Romeo and Juliet, which I also think is great. And then the second single, Skate Away, which is okay, but it's got a really good chorus. In fact, the chorus always reminds me of a Jim Steinman type song. I don't know why, maybe it's the piano that's being played. But side 1 is really, really strong. Side 2 starts off with Espresso Love, which is really, really good. It's a good rocker. And then you have Hand in Hand, which is the best song in side 2. Excellent track. Solid Rock is a bit of a throwaway, but it's enjoyable all the same, and I really do like the Les Boys, which a lot of people can't stand that song. I just think it's quirky. But overall, especially with side 1, this is probably Dire Straits' best album from 1980. So that's my ranking of the 6 Dire Straits albums. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to have another video quite soon. All the best now. Bye bye.